Hey guys, welcome back to our workshop. This is Intermediate HTML and CSS Part 2, which is like an extension of the first few workshops. Your mentor today is Julia, and here are our curriculum developers. So today we're going to talk about things like forms, tables, flexboxes, etc. Forms are important because if you want to sign up for events on a website, you can put in your information and then press the submit button afterwards. How to do it on HTML is there's like a form element, and inside you can put things like text fields, submit buttons, etc. So here is a sample code for this form. So label is basically where you can see that text above the actual input box. It tells the user that here you can put in your first name, for example. It labels the boxes for the user. The input is basically where the user actually puts in their information, like inside the box. So the input type for this one is a text because the first name is a text. You can also have number if you want to have like number types of formats. An example form is right here where I have things like name, email, etc. You can also include dates too, so like dates, times as well. So basically forms, they require both front end and back end. The front end is basically using HTML, CSS to style the form, and then JavaScript can be used for if you want to, I guess, showcase types of text that show up, for example, when the user presses the submit button. For example, the user presses the submit button, maybe some text that shows is information submitted, for example. But then for backend, it's where you actually store the user's information, like using Firebase and PHP. Tables are good for websites, and things are good for websites. So basically, because they help arrange data into like rows and columns, it makes it much easier to see than like having, I guess, like a huge list. One example is here. So here, as you can see, I have a table that shows computer course name, what I learned, software used, and below that is like the information for each of those columns. Here's another example. So basically, inside this table element, you can have like rows and columns. This is like the first row. This is the second row. Inside those rows, you can have information like company, contact, country, etc. Flexboxes are basically like another way to kind of like store your information or display your information. So here you can have like boxes that are like horizontal. Maybe you can have in CSS specified that it's like more towards the left. Maybe there's like space between it, around, etc. One example is this one right here. As you can see, there's like a 3-column box that are like horizontal. Basically, this just means that you can like have 3 different types of boxes to put different types of information, but then mostly have it separated. So basically, what I did in the code is where I have things like div class row, div class column. So here I have 1 row, so I have like 1 div class row, and then 3 columns for each of the boxes. So the information here is basically like for the first column or first box, which you can see right here. So here are some more elements that you can play around with for your Flexbox. For navigation bars, there's many different types of navigation bars. Usually I would just recommend having the third one, which has like the logo or the title on the left and everything else on the right. This is more standard for most websites. So here I have like simple navigation bar where I have like the title on the left and then the other pages on the right, where I could just like click around with it and see the different types of, I guess, information on the pages. But here, if I scroll down, you can't see the navigation bar. You can use position fixed in the CSS page if you want to kind of like have a fixed navigation bar. What it looks like is if I kind of like scroll down here, you can still see the navigation bar. Another cool thing about navigation bars is that you can specify the types of it. So basically here, my navigation bar doesn't have like a solid, I guess, like background color for it. Or I think I just did like no background or background transparent, for example. But here, I have a background color of blue, which you can also specify, for example, like background color blue in the CSS page. And then another cool thing is that you can specify the active element. So an active basically means that if you're on this web page, you can see like a different style. So here, if I click on this, it means that if you're on this page, it's gonna have a background surrounding this text, like a green box. So here, what you can do is, for example, if I go here, in the index.html, you can specify like an active class. So here, as you can see, for this index, I have like class active for this one only. It means that if you're on the homepage, and if you're on the homepage, you're gonna have that different style. You can change the style of active if you go here. Here, as you can see, this one is for this web page right here. Basically means that if it's active, if you're on that page, it's gonna have a background color of green, color pink, and font weight H100. Basically means that your font is going to be more bolded. So here, as you can see, it's what happens when you're on every single web page, because you can specify it in your different pages as well. So here, as you can see on the events page, I have class active somewhere, but let's see. Okay, so class active events. Basically it means that if you're on this events page, you're gonna have the same type of style. Green background, pink font, for example. And then that's what you can do. And then also for hovers, you can also specify hover. So hover basically means that what's gonna happen when you hover along these types of navigation bars. If it's not active, it means that it will not change if you like hover right here. But it's not active. If you hover above one of these texts, it's gonna have a color of yellow. It means that if I go here, it's yellow right here, yellow right here. You can specify hover and also the active classes. Okay, here's some code for the navigation bar, for example. For audio, you can actually put audio inside of the web page. For example, if you're doing like a music website, if you want to like showcase your music, you can just like have this sort of like audio button on your web page. You can use the audio element, or you can basically play like an audio file on a web page. So you have things like control, source, audio tags. Inside the controls, you can have things like play, pause, volume. Here, as you can see, I have the volume and also the play, pause button. So this is pretty important for if you're on a browser that does not support the audio element. I'm pretty sure Chrome does, so that's okay. For this one, for example, if you're in a browser that does show the audio tag, it's gonna have these types of audio on it. But if it does not support the audio element, that's what the web page is gonna show. So it's gonna have this text that says your browser does not support the audio element. This is important because you want to tell the user like it's not your website's fault, it's like more your browser's fault that does not show the audio. So like if you're on a browser that does not support the audio tag, you can just have this that says your browser does not support the audio element. Circles are another way to store your information, not store but like more display. So like here I have 2 rows of circles. You can use the container class. So here I have a container. This is like for 1 row only, where I have like circle 4, circle 3, for example, and then here I just have like text inside the circle. You can also do that as well. So if you want to have 2 rows of circles, one way is to just like copy and paste this one, and then just like make like 2 types of containers that you can just like change the text inside, for example. If you want to like make it all different colors like this, an easy way is to just like use the style element inside the HTML to make it more clear to yourself that you're basically making it different, like the color's different. So if I go here, okay, actually, you know what? Never mind. I think I did put it in the CSS for this one, but basically I know that for this part right here, I put it as different colors inside the HTML page itself. So like here, as you can see, I have background color, this color for this column, different background color for this other column. So inside this div class column, I have like style equals something. In the style equals something, I have like a different background color for each one of these. So actually, I'm gonna show you guys some more types of like cool styles before we end this workshop. So as you can see, okay, as you can see here, if I click on one of these, the page moves, right? So that one you can just specify with the CSS type of style. So if I go back to the code for that one, let me see. Okay, so in CSS you can have something where it's like animation. So animation. So this basically means that it's gonna move for 2 seconds. I think it also specify like the where it moves, but basically this just means that it's gonna have like some kind of like animated sort of style when you click on one of these pages. Another cool thing is basically kind of like having this type of shadow around it. So here, as you can see, I have this shadow. I have this like blue shade around this title. That's more like text shadow. So here, if I go to the code for that one, in CSS, you can specify for that one title, you can have like a text shadow. For this text shadow, I know it looks like a lot. Basically, just like specify the colors, the how much shadow you want to put, and then that's where you can like have like cool blue shadow around the text. It also makes it look cool because it's more like a space themed. For example, actually for the space background, as you can see, there's like a different background for each type. So the main background color is the space, but then I also have like different types of images right here, and also like a different background color right here. What I did was, if I go here, if I go to body basically means that it's your entire web page that you can see. So body includes navigation bar and also everything else that you see on the website. So inside here, I put the background image as background 1, which is the space background that you see. So here, the entire background or the entire page is going to be that space background. So this part is a different image because I had like sections. So inside this HTML file, you can have sections inside the body. So body is right, if I can find it. So the body tag should be somewhere. Okay, this body tag is right, starts right here. So I have like navigation bar, so on. After the navigation bar, I have section class. So in here, I have STEMbition, where STEM mates your students' ambitions. That's this part right here. So for that one, the image for that one is specifically this image, because the cool thing about having this section class is where you can just like reference that class in your style. So here I have .intro. So .intro is right here. So the background image for that one is this image right here, which is the STEM student's background that you see. And then this part of the web page is purple because I specified that in another section. Section main includes that other part of the website. So for section main, I did a background color of a more grayish purple color right here. That's basically the background color for this part right here. Another cool thing is that you can kind of like use different types of fonts. So usually if you just like use font family originally without any kind of like outside links, you can have things like Arial, Verdana, Times New Roman. But if you want to have like a more variety of fonts, I would turn to fonts.google.com. So this one includes types of fonts that you can use. If you like a font, I would select the style, and then usually something like this will pop up. This means that you just pay attention to this part. So here, make sure you're on link, mostly. And then I would just put this one, like copy paste this entire thing, and put it inside the head tag of HTML. So here, if I scroll right here, inside the head tag, I will put those links and then copy paste it somewhere around here. But in the CSS, I would just like put this part inside the CSS. I recommend having the entire page be the same font. So I would actually just put like this asterisk means that it applies to the whole page. I will put the font family right here. So I'll just put like the CSS font family inside this tag right here. Basically means the entire website's gonna have that same font family. Another cool thing is changing the logo. So if you're on REPL, what you can do to change the logo that it shows on the tab, as you can see here, there's like an orange block, and here there's like a pink sort of like music element thing. So what you can do to change that is where if you go to the HTML for index, I have something called icon. So this icon means that that's what's going to show when you're on that tab, and it shows like this sort of logo. So if I go here, that's the logo that I use for this page right here. So you just do like link rel icon and then orange.jpg. I would do this for every single HTML page. So in every single one of these, I would have this part right here. And basically that's what you see around most of these. So I mentioned last time that you can have like font awesome icons like this Twitter and also this email. So and for this email kind of icon, what you can do to kind of like link it to your email is basically, if I go to this page right here, if I go down, it has div class icons, and then here's like the envelope that you see. So I have href that links to mail to whatever email that you have. Mail to basically means that if you click on it, it's going to lead to like your actual email address. If you don't want to kind of like list your email address on the page itself, you can just like let the user click on it, and then it's going to show up. The email is going to show up after the user clicks on that envelope button, and that's something that you can do for your personal website, for example. Overall, you can also actually have a link to your homepage when you click on the logo. So you can click on the homepage and it leads to your homepage, or you can click on the logo, it leads to the homepage. What you can do is, I think if you go to the navigation bar up here, yeah, so here I have the text ambition and also the image ambition. I put this all inside the A tag, inside this li tag. So basically I have the worst ambition, also the image ambition as well, which looks like this. So I have that one, and then it means that it's gonna link to this index.html page. So basically I put this inside here. It means that if I click on this, it's gonna link to the index.html page, which is the home page. So that's something that you can do for your own website as well. Overall, I think that's all we have, but thank you for coming to our workshop.